Welcome back, family. Mangitu and Misadi,
Magitu Adam,
and this is Young
melanated.
and Married. It's been a while, y'all. It's been a while. If you've been following our journey, aside from this couples podcast, we have moved. We moved from Little Rock, Arkansas to Gambia, Africa, and we're very happy. We're very, very, very happy. And moving here has also helped, our relationship. It's helped us connect better, and we've seen such a big difference that we can't wait to just talk about, with you guys. We've also started being co-host with another lovely couple here that we will be shouting out once that's all together and we're starting to put that content out. But so many things are in progress right now. But we just want to say thank you guys for staying on this journey with us. If you are, married, if you're single with fiance, if you're just with your boyfriend, girlfriend, and you're listening in, we hope that, we can give you something that you can take with you to help that relationship become stronger and help that foundation um, have zero cracks in it.
Yes, because like she said, this journey is not easy, and it's a breath of fresh air having a real, honest, and clear cut conversation about real struggles that we have as young, melanated married individuals all over the world. So today we just wanted to start it off with our topic for today. And that topic is self-care and mental health in these marriages, in these young melanated marriages, because it's so important. Most of the marriages or even relationships that we see are abusive in so many different ways. Whether it's mental abuse, whether it's physical abuse, emotional abuse. We see this, but we don't have a community built around mental health. And this is a big issue that I think causes a lot of relationships to crumble. They say it's finances usually, which we completely agree. But that also feeds into that mental health struggle that we all go through in these relationships. I know growing up, personally, I saw my mom go through a lot of struggles with relationships, and a lot of it was due to the times and mental health, besides other things that go into relationships too, because it's not just one thing. But today, I feel like we should prioritize this. We should prioritize self-care, and emotional resilience is such an important thing, because how do we manage stress? How do we face unique challenges together? And how do we foster a strong sense of self-care in the household with our partner? So these are questions that me and my better half, we've talked about through various ways throughout the years, and it's really a battle. It's an uphill battle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's just talk about self care, right? Like, let's just talk about self care by itself. As a community, we don't do very many things to take care of ourselves. We know how to take care of everybody around us, but when it's time for us to turn around and take care of ourselves, that's where we start to lack. We don't eat enough of the foods that give us the nutrients, or we make sure that other people are happy before our own needs. And it's just little stuff like that when you're talking about your relationship that can go in a day. Let's say, you're a wife, you have kids, you didn't feed everybody in the house, but you only made yourself like a little small salad, or you to make sure everybody, was in school, everybody had their book bags, everybody had their lunch, everybody went to practice on time, but did you make time for the things that you want to do for yourself? So any hobbies or Some women, they just like to get their nails done. That's self care. Some women like to sit and read a book. That's self care. Listen to audiobooks, go for a run, go to the gym. Anything that you take for yourself, we as women have to take that accountability. We have to take that and we have to say, okay, yes, I'm going to make sure that my family, my household is good, it's flowing, it's in order, it's at peace. But I'm going to take this 15, 30 minutes, 72 hours, however long you need to myself. I'm going to dedicate it to myself. I'm only going to do what I want to do or what I feel like makes me feel happy so that I can have my time. Because once you do that, you feel better and then you give better. Like you give, your partner more positive energy. You give your kids some more positive energy, and not just them. You give your friends a more positive energy, your other family members a more positive energy. Anytime you are in that space, you're in that vibration. So self care is very, very important. And then, of course, that self care goes into, or it's kind of bleeding the line between, your mental health.
And so, just on that topic of just doing those things, right? Those key things to have your own time, your own space, just to build your personal self care that ripples into your relationships and helps it overall. And if you think about it, right, that's one of those emotional bonds. It's just one of those things that help in your relationship. So strengthening those emotional bonds is so important. And another way you do that is through communication. You have to let your other half know when you need your own space, when you would like to do some self-care bonding exercises together, because there's a lot of things you can do together, like she was saying about exercising. You can do that together. You can read books. There's a lot of different things, but communication is key, because we all reach a breaking point. We all have those stressful days where we just feel like snapping, but through communication we can get through those. And a lot of times we're lacking, and this has been in our relationship too. There's been plenty of times where we've misunderstood each other, when we haven't communicated all the way, whether it's because we didn't want to or we just didn't know how to. So we have to work on that a lot more, because growing up, I mean, this is just in the 90s, and I'm pretty sure even before then, you weren't talked to as a kid too much. You were told to do it once, twice, if twice, and then, you got punished. It wasn't much communication. So as we're learning to love each other and to be be better parents and better individuals, period, learning that communication is such a vital step in taking your family to the next level from what we saw. That's a pivotal thing in creating those emotional bonds, because it's not just for us, right? It's our children. We want them to learn to be able to communicate whenever they're having any mental stress, or don't be afraid. It's not something like in our community right now, they teach you to be mostly afraid of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, any way that we can, and I feel like we always talk about in every episode. If you like listen to almost every episode, we always make some kind of point with that topic and communication, and how communication can help everything, everything and anything. Communication, communication, communication. So, I feel like also when you start talking about self care and mental health, it's like, what what exactly are you talking about? What does that look like in a relationship? And I guess our mental health can come or be compromised or be uplifted through this emotional connection that we um, have as a married couple. And so, thus again, the self care and doing all the things that you need to do for yourself, not just me, but as a man too. I don't know what Adamite needs for himself to just, that's just him. He needs that in order for him to keep going with a peace of mind, with just feeling like, okay, I am a husband, but I am myself. But connecting those things and connecting that to the emotional bond, you can see where once you start to do the self care, once he starts to do his self care and you guys come together, how well each other separately as separate people, your mental health is going to grow, is going to get better, and it's going to increase because of that emotional connection. So it's such a
Exactly.
great thing.
And we don't have all the answers, right? We always tell people in whatever video we're making, informative videos, do your own research. But more than that, like I just said, we don't have all the answers. So sometimes we need help too. Sometimes we do a celebrity shout out. We call family members. We call friends. And we get an assessment on the decisions that we're making. Are we crazy for thinking this? Or is this argument really worth arguing about? And so it's always good to get help, whether that's professionally or whether that's your friends and family. Your friends and family could be your counselor too. Your wife, your husband, they could be your counselor too. But that professional help sometimes is needed. And a lot of us, to be honest, need that because there's post traumatic slave syndrome. There's a lot of stuff that we battle every day that's under the surface that we don't think about, that sometimes we can't quantify it. Sometimes we can't put it all into just one thought and say, that's the reason why I've been acting this way. So that finding those agencies, finding those offices in those places or that person that you're confident in speaking to is very important on your journey of self care because none of us came into this world alone. None of us go through this world alone. We have to have help of some sort. So don't just bottle it all in because, like we said about the point of communication, if you bottle all the problems you have in and you don't communicate those problems, all of a sudden those little small problems blow up into a big thing. And with that time where it blows up and you're trying to communicate all those small things, it's not going to come out right because now you're emotional. Now is that time is a whole bunch of different details in those little things that you're not going to be able to divulge or say. So you got to really communicate because that saves you from fire and you have to have the proper help.
Exactly. Communicate and be understanding. I feel like um a lot of us lose compassion in our relationships towards especially if you feel like, okay, I didn't told him or her this over and over and over. It tends to become a thought process in your mind where you be like, oh, they're not just not listening, or it's not getting through to them, or they're doing it on purpose, yada yada yada. But one thing that I've realized being in a relationship is that being in this marriage is that sometimes the other person just doesn't know, and that's me included. There might be things that Adam might ask of me that I just cannot produce for him at that time because I don't understand what he's asking. I'll even stay on the topic though of what you were saying, professional help, and not only professional help is something that's obviously everybody should recommend professional help, but building that good network of family, friends that support your relationship. But not only do they support your relationship, but they have their own marriage that they can pull and experience that they can pull from positive marriage experience. We're not talking about just anybody that's married,
Mm-hmm.
but people that care for you, people that care for both of you. Because if you try to include somebody that only cares about the wife or only cares about the husband, they could potentially sabotage. So you have to be careful who you talk to. We're not telling you to tell everybody your business, da da da. But you will know, you will feel that person that is for the marriage. That's not just gonna be biased. That's for the marriage, and they can give you real, authentic advice. And hopefully not all the time. There can be some single people that can give off good advice. But hopefully that person is married. They can pull from their marriage. They can pull from their experiences, and they can pass that wisdom down onto you. Like me and Adam, we've recently come across a lot of different married couples. Where in America we were looking for married couple friends, but now that we're here in Gambia, we at least have three married couples. All of them have kids just like us, and we're able to talk. We're able to, if we have something that we feel like, okay, maybe I want to see how somebody else in a marriage thinks about this. We have network now to pull from that's not biased, that's not going to give us negativity, that's going to be able to really connect with you so you feel comfortable, you feel a little bit normal. Because whether you believe it or not, you might think, oh, I'm the only one going through this with my husband, I'm the only one going through this with my wife. But honestly, we're all going through very, very similar things. And just a conversation can help each other, to realize that.
Absolutely. And, it's so important for us to set boundaries because we have to set boundaries on our workload. We have to set boundaries on the times that we spend with our other friends and things of that nature to make time for each other because that's a part of the self-care too, and even having the space to do self-care activities with each other, with our partners, and really grow in that aspect because mentally you can work, and you're getting mentally burnt out. And so you're mentally burnt out, and now you do have a day off or something like that that you don't have planned, and now you can't really do much that day with your better half or your family because you're burnt out. So you got to really set boundaries, work boundaries, just life boundaries in general, friends, family. So you know how much of yourself you can give before you're burnt out and you don't have any more to give to yourself or your partner. And so that's very, very important. And a lot of us, we don't set those boundaries. A lot of times our friend calls us up, we're going. A lot of times the job says overtime, you're working. We have to set those boundaries to give ourselves, pressure bust pipes. All the pressure you go through every day, you may not feel it immediately, but by that 10th day, 11th day, you're like, man, I really don't feel like doing anything. So you never want to get to that point. So setting boundaries, and me and my wife, we're working on this right now because we're working on a project, and that's going to be in our main channel videos, but it takes every single day. Every single day we're working. Besides the fact that my wife, she's doing 2, 3 different things at one time. So we're still learning how to set boundaries with work, with life, with family, everything. So it's not easy. It's not something you're just going to figure out overnight. But like our last topic, we were just talking about getting help, speaking to people, and also, which goes into the next topic, having that community around you is so important. The community of people that understand what you're going through, whether it's friends or family. So you can communicate your problems to, and also they understand that you need your time. So if you're not talking to them right now, y'all don't talk 1, 2 days, they're not going crazy. They know anxiety's taking her time. Adam, he's taking his time right now. He's been working hard. So you need that understanding community around you as well.
Yeah, 100%. And we know that we're trying our best to take our mental health seriously. And one thing that everybody that really speaks on this topic in our community talks about is the discussion of, which goes back into communication, the discussion of mental health within the relationship. There are times where people go through mental health issues and they shut down. They're quiet about it. They take on all of the burden, even if they have a loving and caring partner. It's not about the partner, it's about the individual. So we just need to be more, as a community, we need to be more open to accepting the mental health challenges that we're facing, face them and communicate with our partner about them. And you never know. Just opening up about, it's so many things that I might hold in. I'm not a holder. I'm not really much of a holder. I am a speaker. If I feel it on my heart, I'm going to say something about it. But I can imagine what would happen if I were to hold in certain things that I feel and never speak about them, and how that could weigh on me and weigh on my mental and weigh and weigh and weigh. So if your partner loves you, your partner cares about you, opening up and speaking to them should 100% make you feel better, because they should understand and they will give you that compassion and that love that you're needing in that moment.
And Before we go, I want to first say like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you comment. We comment. I mean, we respond to every comment that we get. Feel free to contact us too, at vegasbusinessgroup@gmail.com. But, I want us to practice as a community, everybody that's listening to this podcast, I want us to practice trying to identify the signs of someone is having mental, a mental health scare, because there's things that you can see, anxiety, somebody that's anxiety, fidgety, always worried about the time, really just on the rush all the time, or somebody that's depressed. You see them always going through certain depressions and things of that nature. These are things that you can pick up on, and it can be your coworker, it can be your partner, it can be your kids, because everybody goes through this. But let's start being aware, because that's the first thing, of being aware of the self-care scares and the mental health scares. We have to be aware of these things first. And a lot of us nowadays are tuned off to those certain things. We're on the screens, or we're at work, or we're dealing with paycheck to paycheck bill problems, government stuff. But we have to tune back inwards and be aware of what these triggers are. Because if we can call on our brother and say, hey, I see you kind of, you're kind of getting off, mentally, you maybe need to work on your self-care a little bit, take a day to yourself, relax. How many times have you been told that by your friend in your life? How many times have you been told that by your family in your life, or at your workplace, or anything like that? You never are told that usually in the societies that we're raised in now. So let's work on identifying those problems for ourselves today.
Yeah. And I also want to add that, of course, the biggest help that you can start to help, or if you're thinking to yourself right now, I hear you, I hear what you're saying, but how do I start, where do I go, what is the starting point? And I would say pray, do go into your spirituality, go into your religion, go into whatever it is that you seek for, that guides you, and ask for wisdom, ask for guidance. And not only ask for the wisdom, don't just ask for the guidance, but once it's given to you, take it and use it. A lot of times we pray and pray and pray all night for something, and we get it, we receive it, and we don't take hold of it. We don't take action behind it. We just maybe know it, or we might brush it off like, no, that's not, I don't want to do that. It might be something, your answer might take you out of your comfort zone. And this is speaking from experience. So pray, pray, pray. Just pray until you can't pray anymore. But once you get that answer, recognize that this is the answer you was looking for, you was praying for, you was asking for, and take action behind it. Because no matter what, our self-care is all about self. You have to become accountable for yourself, so that way, and your mental health, so that way you can be the best version of yourself for your kids and for your husband.
Exactly. So I want you guys to please like, comment, and subscribe below. Please comment and let us know what you think about this topic. Anything you can chime in, any advice, things you've gone through, all of it. We want to hear it. So feel free to contact us. And thank you again for tuning in with another episode of Young,
Black.
Melinated,
Oh,
and
sorry.
Married.
Oh, let's do it again.
So thank you for tuning in today to Young
Melanated.
and Married.
Bye.